All right, hey everyone, this is Mike. We're back again. We're just getting set up. We've got Steve Reid. You're live on camera, so stay off camera for just a minute. We're testing the microphones. Okay, we're going to walk through the colony. We have permission to do that. I'm going to bring Steve on camera in just a second. He's getting mic'd up here. We're trying to avoid the wind noise that we had last night. I apologize for that. We're learning as we go through this. Steve, if you could step in here.
Hello, everybody.
There we go.
Steve Reid with Longboat Key News.
So I can't think of a better person I'd like to take this tour with than someone with the background like Steve has. He is the publisher and owner of the Longboat Key News, and just a great friend.
Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks for both compliments. And it's a bittersweet day. This is the colony. We're at the entrance of the Colony Beach and Tennis Resort. It's due to be demolished today. After more than 4 decades of continuous operation as one of the top tennis resorts in the world, it failed about 10 years ago, fell apart, big ownership battles, legal battles, and finally it's all being worked out. Unicorp has consolidated ownership. They're the company that's going to redevelop this into a St. Regis hotel and condominiums, and today they have the contract to demolish it. The demolition is being ordered by the town of Longboat Key, and it was fought in court as well, as has every chapter of the colony, and that's supposed to happen at 2:30. We wanted to get together because in many ways we thought it'd be valuable to take a walk through the colony as it stands, as a final memory and as a kind of a final testament to something that was important to thousands of people and many, many Longboat Key residents. So here we go.
All right, so we're mic'd up. We're doing some things different, so we kind of got to watch that a little bit. Let me close this down. And Eric, will you keep it on just to make sure we're still broadcasting okay with the mics and stuff like that? So we're going to turn the camera here. Give me just a second. You're seeing everything live, and again, we're not professional photographers, but we have a great professional newsman with us.
All right.
And Mr. Reid. So let me just do a couple of buttons here on the gimbal. And we'll bring it through. We're going to actually walk in here now.
We've got the best equipment you can get on Amazon in 2 days. So here we go. This is the great entrance. And for many years, there was a guard gate there that welcomed the guests. And he used to have that little Jamaican hat that he would wear, or Bahamian hat, the little helmet. And he'd say, "Welcome to the colony." And people would come. And this really was the beginning of, for many, the best experiences they had on Longboat Key. So
now we're going to step inside. And now for the most part, Steve, you and I won't be, our audio will be live, but we're going to be showing the property. So they're seeing it off the other side of the camera.
All right. So
with print guys, I like to tease you guys a little bit how it works with high technology. And I like teasing people that we care about. And thank you for being here with us today.
So we'll walk you through it and talk about a lot of things. There's the remain of that entrance. There was the entrance, and there's the gate, the top of it. You can see that's the behind it. And look behind that, you'll see the tennis courts off to the left and right. Tennis was the focus here. The new St. Regis will not have tennis, and in many ways, that's a big change on Longboat. We have the public tennis center has opened. The Longboat Key Club opened an impressive tennis gardens. And so the St. Regis is going to focus on a true resort experience. They're going to have a convention center. They're going to have it's going to be a 5-star operation is
we
what
have
the goal
support
is.
Here. I got Melissa and Eric early. They're trying to stay off camera, but we can't do this with just Steve and I. In fact, they don't want to let the old guys do this stuff, so we got the young folks here to help us. And I just stepped on the camera, so let me get it back in place. Again, you're seeing everything live as we go through here. Okay.
Good. All right, and we're going to pick up the pace here. Now, these are the units. And all these buildings, they've all been condemned. Basically, the resort closed 10 years ago, fell in disrepair, and beating wood frame structures on the Gulf, they just got moldy. The fire department won't enter them. Structurally, they've been condemned, and the town wants them down, and that's the end.
Eric, can you every once in a while just make sure the video or the audio is still good? Because these mics are brand new for us. So last night you got to see the final sunset with us walking on the beach and showing pictures. We're actually inside the grounds right now. Steve was able to get permission for us to do this.
And part of the backstory, although you'll see these buildings had different colored, you'll see around the windows, the awnings and everything, you have the blue building. Every unit was sold and owned individually. This was, hey, so just like the colony, our saga continues. And we're walking through there was about 237 individual units here. And each unit had its own owner. Some people own more than one unit. Andy Adams owns about 74, the most. And that became very important because all the legal battles ensued over whose responsibility was it to repair things. Was Murph spending the money fairly and repairing it? Should the owners have paid an assessment to fix it? Those things were battled in court. And it turns out Murph Lauber was vindicated. He did not mismanage the colony, and the courts found that the Association of Unit Owners were responsible to pay him an assessment, which they failed to do, and that led to the collapse. So it's really on their shoulders. We're going to head to the right here. And look, pan up there. See that big mid-rise? That's the big building here. That's the tower. They call that...
There's a hotel in there?
Yeah, well, it's the mid-rise tower. What you have is that's Murph's home up there. That was Murph Lauber.
Okay.
He ran the colony for 4 decades from, if you see the terrace up there, there's a pool up there. And he had 2 floors of that mid-rise for himself. One as a residence, and the other was his office. And if you read at Longboat Key News the history, you'll find he got into a big battle with one of the owners, Andy Adams. Andy Adams owned 2 units as well in the mid-rise and wanted to join them and expand some of his rights. And Murph and he fought, and that was really the beginning of the end. So, little editorializing, but it's actually the truth. So here we go. This was where guests, we're coming up here to the hotel lobby entrance. What do you call that, a palapa? That thatchy thing, that thatch. By the way, that's why the town wants this gone. You can imagine one spark.
Let's take a look over here.
Yeah. Let's go to the hotel entrance.
We're still checking with Eric and Melissa as we're doing this to make sure we get the best quality for you guys.
And where we're gonna go is right around here. This was really where Murph used to keep his car. Underneath that palapa. This was shaded parking. It's gone.
And this building right in front of us, Steve, that I'm pointing the camera at, what was that?
Well,
part
that
of the
was
commercial
Taste
restaurant?
Buds. That was a delicatessen.
That's where I used to come for lunch and
Taste
breakfast.
Buds. Here's the dining room, and here's where guests would come up. Let's walk up here, because this is how people will remember the colony. Anyone who stayed here had to come this way. They would have gone right at that entrance, at that old guard gate, and they would have looped around and pulled right up here. And
Steve, would you assume we could get a really good deal on a room today?
yeah, I think there's, well, yeah, the only problem is it's going to be knocked down at 2:30, so whatever you do in the room, you'd have to do by 2:30. So,
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
we're going to take a look at the, see this sign?
Yes.
The town's been all over it. They will not let the fire department in here. If there's a fire, they ain't going in.
So there's a lobby. We can see it on the backcraft of the camera.
That's the old lobby.
Yep.
Yeah.
See that? That's what they're looking at right now.
Now I want you to come over here. This is probably
So demo starts today about 2:30?
2:30. Yeah, it's what those, there was a crew at the front, which we didn't really see, but they're gonna, about 2 hours, there'll be things coming down. Now,
So this is it. This is the
there's
last of
the
last.
restaurant. Let's go. Let's walk over to the restaurant because I want to show you the heart and soul of the colony, and that's up here. I don't know if we can go this way, but this is the entrance to the restaurant. Let's peek through the window.
Okay.
The old famous colony dining room, the famous buffets, the Sunday brunches. It is open. Let's walk right in. Come on in, folks.
You live a lot more dangerously than I do, and that's okay.
We're in, and we're not going to touch anything. We're going to be extremely careful. But we do have exclusive ability to come on in. This is the old entrance to the dining room. This is where you'd be greeted, welcome to the colony dining room, how many? And now, most famously, was the old monkey bar. Very, very memorable place. Murph would have his artwork here. And Michael, and for viewers, for 40 years, there was a piano, a grand piano, playing jazz right there. This is, you would walk in and be greeted by live piano, diners off to the right, and this is the famous monkey bar. Let's look at that, because tennis greats from around the world, friends of Murph's, celebrities, this is where they had their drinks after tennis. This is where you could find Murph in the evening. This is where beachside romance sometimes occurred. And here, look at this. This is even cooler. Come on in here. And we're going to go walk right out here. Hey, young, come on in. Now here was, in there were cages where they had live monkeys. And they would dine around the monkeys. And all those windows looked beautifully out on the Gulf of Mexico. Of course, it's dark now, but
Hence the name, the monkey bar.
now in here, you would come outside, and this was a very neat mural done by the artist who made Garfield. He did that. It's a very famous mural that was done by the guest, the same artist who did Garfield. I don't know his name, but he painted that for Murph. So it's pretty neat thing.
I'm panning it right now so our visitors, our viewers can see it.
And you could see some people damaged it a little, but it's quite
It's
exciting. You could see the playful, whimsical paintings. This was the bar, the outside bar, the tiki bar, and poolside. There's the old pool. We're going to walk up and
Let's
see
take
that.
a walk over there.
This is for sale for $55. No one bought that, so I guess that's going to go away. We got to go this way. We're going to do a little walk through here. This all served. This resort, by the way, let me talk for just briefly. It was all on ground level, something you can't do anymore. These folks could walk out of their units into the sand, the restaurants at ground level, the beach. So it was a very in the sand, toes in the sand resort. And that's what was very, very special about it. And independently owned, very rare.
It's amazing what this used to accomplish.
The ladies' room, the monk shi. Okay. Let's go look
This
at
is
the.
the last tour to the monkey bar. This is it.
This
It's
is
all
last
coming
call.
down. Yep.
This is it.
This is last call.
This is last call, and
Let's take a peek out across this way here. I had many, many meals here, like most of you folks that are watching live or will see the recording.
on a little editorial note, the way it has turned out with the community helping to shape the plan and the town and the developer, Unicorp, I think bringing to St. Regis will serve this island well for the next generation. Murph built something as exquisite as he could. And I believe I think Unicorp and Whitall is trying to keep up that same standard. And so
They've got big shoes to fill.
they've got big shoes to fill.
Which way would you like to head next?
Let's head toward the pool and beach right behind you. Let's go look at the view, which people used to see when they stayed here, just so. And we're going to go up here and look down in the pool. The pool has seen better days, but it's worth a look. There's the pool. I'm gonna go for one last swim real quick.
It looks like it needs to be, the lawn needs to be mowed a little bit.
Someone didn't pay the maintenance guy.
Yeah.
Literally, that is the problem.
Last night when we showed this, you saw different views from the beach, but we're inside right now.
Yeah.
Definitely the last walkthrough. Let me take a pan up here. This is it, guys. This is what Steve said is the last call, the last footage of this great, once what was a great resort.
And I want you to pan up there. You see those buildings right there? You see those upper units?
Yes, sir.
Those were known as the presidential and vice presidential suites. We had a vice president. We had Al Gore stay here. We had George Bush. We had a president stay here. These are the units. Those were the two prime units where they all stayed.
Let me put you on the spot. You're a newsman.
Yeah.
What day did George Bush stay here?
He spent the night of November 10 and
No, not November.
September 10.
September.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
testing me to see if I knew my history.
No. I remember September 10, and the
happened
next
on
morning he
September
was
11?
at Booker
Yep.
when the attack on 9/11 occurred, and he was here.
So it started right out here on the island.
Yeah. So and just to think of the stature of a place, that wasn't that long ago. What
No.
was that? 2001, right?
Yes, yeah. So it's
15, 16 years ago, 17 years ago. 17 years ago, a president stayed there. That's hard to believe. But look at the Gulf of Mexico here.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Live, we're looking at the Gulf.
Hello. Hello.
Look out at the
Hello.
that water, that intensity.
Go back up.
Let's look at the intensity of a couple things here. One last thing to be clear about. Murph had probably the best beach, one of the best beaches on Longboat. And partly is that groin. We always laughed about it. We call it Murph's groin. Murph installed his groin there, and it holds the sand and anchors it. And the state tried to remove it. The town fought him. He fought to keep it. He got the right to keep it. And his beach has always been a big, plentiful beach.
Look at it now. It's great shape.
It's in great shape. So the current owners are going to enjoy that same beach. And let's take one big wide-angle view. Amazing.
Let me pan around here. This is it, guys. This is the last final walkthrough of what this once great resort used to be here at the Colony.
I'm gonna give it that solemn thank you for a lot of great parties, a lot of fun, great meals. My wife and I, we brought our children here. We had birthdays here. Thank you, Murph. I really appreciate it.
It was an amazing place. I really miss coming down here for the bagels and the coffee for breakfast, the lunch at the outside bar, the monkey room. This was it, the hotel. And when I moved down here, it was later. It was, I bought in 2008, but I moved in 2010. Nobody really knew the inn was that close. Colony at one point closed down, did some reorganizing. It reopened, but it didn't last very long.
Yeah, it was, at the end, it was limping along. But, I talk to Murph still, and I see him, and his spirits are good. He's such a great optimist, and I think he should be really proud of what he did here. One-of-a-kind place, only on Longboat Key. And most of Longboat Key knows that many of the homeowners who came here stayed here first, fell in love with Longboat Key, and bought a residence.
Not only did he build a world-class facility, he had a very advanced business model in terms of condominium ownership and being part of the partner for the overall complex.
That's right. Murph had a system where you owned it, you bought a unit, but you only had the right to occupy it for 30 days, and the manager, who was Murph and his companies, could rent it the other 11 days and use that money for the maintenance and the costs, and you would get what was left over. Great idea, got everything sold, but when it came time to renovate and rebuild, has been nothing but problematic. But
Take a walk over this way and see
Yeah.
what's over there. I really appreciate the history you've got on this, Steve. Thank you.
you got it, Mike. And it's going to be exciting. Remember, later today it's coming down.
Yes.
And then let's tune in. We'll come back and give an update. I mean, we're going to have a new resort development coming, so we'll be back to this site.
I like that. Thank you for that. We're going to continue our tour here. And we have to be very careful. We're walking on a plank that is not quite all there anymore. There we go. Even this big guy can manage that.
This here used to be, you could see a playground and slides, and there were, that's where, those were palapas or people. That's what that was.
We went down for just a second. Let me try to reconnect. We may need to walk. Let's see. Let's walk over here and see. We're going to have to splice all these together.
You think he can make something good out of
Yeah.
this?
Oh yeah. So let's see if I can reconnect here. Let me look in the shade. Let me get in the shade for just a second, so I can see the screen. All right, we're back live again. Yep. All right, and we'll put all these together so that we'll have one solid video. But what are we looking at here, Steve?
This is Renick. This was the boutique, the tennis boutique, the bathing suit shop, fashions. Murph and Murph's daughter, Katie
Can we
Moulton.
step in there?
Yeah, they would go to New York City and buy up fashions and bring them down here. And they took a lot of pride in it. Murph, anyone who knew Murph Lauber knew he wore some pretty nice, colorful, poignant shirts full of energy, and that's what they had here. They had a lot of vitality, color, and life. The Colony was a jamming place. I mean, it just really was. One thing they did real well was they had a lot of kids' activities, and the idea was parents could basically, their kids had the time of their lives, and then the parents could play tennis, have fun, and live an adult fun. So let's get out of here. This is
Okay.
this was like I said, Renick, and then it also was part of the kid play area too. Later on, it looks like.
So what did we have in this structure here?
It's another one of the beachfront units. There's several premier units that existed at the Colony, and this is one of them. Not looking too premier today, but they called this the Lanai Suite. And you know, sometimes people who wanted that extra special beachfront place, a wedding couple, this was common.
Oh, this was amazing in its day. It had to be.
Yeah, it was. And as you can see, 237 units. When it was occupied, it was life.
Hello.
And everyone here to have fun. And no one was here back then. They weren't connected necessarily to the internet all doing work. They were here simply to have fun.
We're getting some background noise, Steve. I apologize in terms of my ringtones aren't shut off. I'm learning how to do this technology. Today we're mic'd because of the wind noise we experienced last night, but I forgot to shut the ringtones off, so I apologize.
That's all right. I hope the images come through and people can see a little.
That's the key. This is it. After today, it's not going to look like this anymore.
No. And we did sort of the loop. Like I said, this was the hub. This is where guests pulled up. They would be told there, you know, which building they were in. And you go find your building, get situated. Most of these buildings were two bedroom places, and they could sleep a bunch of people, kind of like you probably sleep 8 in one of these units. Yeah, and so that was it. And one thing that's to be remembered is they did receive the #1 tennis resort ranking, and during a period where tennis was king. I mean, this was in the 70s and 80s, and Murph was friends with everyone. Bollettieri would come here and teach. They would have huge competitions, and it was they would have the big tournaments here. And I wish I knew more about that history. You know, I wasn't old enough to be down here at that time, So I saw the later years. I saw it in the late 90s and through the 2000s. But it functioned as a premier tennis place, a destination.
Well, to draw the President of the United States speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
Having George W. Bush spend the night here. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a bad morning, but just the stature, and the Vice President Al Gore was here at one point. This was where it was on Longboat Key. I remember I could come down for dinner and enjoy a nice dinner and some drinks because I'm walking back along the beach to go home. There's no driving.
Yeah.
Lunch is
Hello.
the outdoor bar.
Hello.
Breakfast with bagels.
Hello.
Stuff like that. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this is a memory-making place. Let's wander along this edge,
Okay.
guy, and I could show you a couple things here that were. I'm having a hard time believing it'll be demoed, but you know, it's really like if you've ever been out west, like some strange ghost land, you know, like an abandoned western town. It is very strange to have a place that was just teeming with life. Because really, 237 units. Figure a lot of those units had the kids and the spouses. You might have 500, 600, 700 people on property.
What happened to the unit owners through all of this, and maybe the ones that had mortgages on the property?
Well, what happened was most of them bought the units along the way from anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000. That seemed to be what they paid over the 70s, 80s, 90s, even more or less to the end, except for the premier places. The way they tended to do, the way it worked financially for most people, is you would pay your 100,000, say, use it for your 30 days. They'd come down for 2 or 3 years. It wouldn't cost them anything except the, like you say, the money on the note. And then they would find a house and retire here or sell it and make a little profit. They never depreciated up until the very end, when we had the real estate crisis in 2006.
Yes.
And, you know, and that was at the very bitter end of it all.
But when this closed, if there was some folks still supporting notes and mortgages, were they wiped clean? Do you know what happened with those? And maybe we don't know that.
Oh
story.
no, they would still have to. They would owe whatever they owed, just like anything. Because these units, they would owe the full amount of whatever.
But if they elected to walk away, there's nothing for the
well, then the
bank
bank would own it, and
yeah,
they were all individual deals, so there's no standard form. I mean, they, you know, one person owned that one, and another person that one, and they may have one person owned it in a family trust, another person it was the family vacation, another person an investment, but for the most part, the vast majority, they were friends of Murph. He lived a long life before he came here. He was an orthodontist in Buffalo, and he would invite all his friends to down, and they would tell their friends, and like all network marketing type things, they just heard of this great place called the Colony, and Murph was so enthusiastic. They wanted to be here. So for the carrying cost, they got a 30-day year vacation. And
so it was like a timeshare, but they had a deed. And they were able to finance it. So it was definitely a unique business model.
Yeah, so they would gain on any appreciation, and there always was. There rarely was money left over. The money paid the taxes, paid the maintenance, paid the insurance, and so on. And Murph kept track of all that. The great fight came when all these units became 40 years old, and it was no longer little maintenance, and Murph asked, after some storms, for first 15,000 and then I think 30-some thousand and eventually about 50,000 as an assessment, and that led to the big battle that made the place unravel.
So it was a disagreement between the general partner and the association.
Correct.
Okay.
And the he assessed the association, and they filed bankruptcy, and it's a very convoluted thing, and you'd almost have to read thousands and thousands of words of stories, because every aspect of the colony was put into its own LLC and company, and they were all sold and leveraged. So it became it almost looks, it's like going to the middle of Appalachia and trying to draw a family tree. It's impossible.
Let's go stand under that shade. I want to turn the camera around and just have a couple of minutes of comments so I can see the screen a little bit better.
Yeah. Do a little wrap up because I'm having a hard time tearing myself away.
All right, so here we go. We've got Mike and Steve again. Steve, my personal, let me get this so you're on there. My thanks for being here and sharing your time.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
It means everything to us. You've got a busy schedule.
Thanks, viewers. I hope maybe you get to come out and drive by the site or come visit it, certainly when it's rebuilt. But we're saying goodbye to a great place. And if you ever had a chance to come out here, we hope you joined us and enjoyed walking through a little bit.
So
Take care.
Last night, folks, you saw the final sunset. Today is the final day. We're actually inside the property with permission. And we took you